16 celebrities get put in random brackets. They're put on an island. Who will survive Celebrity Combat? All right, welcome into the final rounds of Celebrity Combat. We have the number 1 seed, Ed O'Neill, taking on the number 9 seed, Gary Busey. God, how did we get here? I think the last episode of Celebrity Combat could be recorded over, but we're not going to do that.
Right, we're going to let it ride with all its glory.
Mistakes were made. So Ed O'Neill, basically, the only thing is, everyone says he's kind of an undercover badass. Again, it's hard to see, but Horion Gracie black belt. That's no joke. Whether you put in your time to get it or, a lot of these martial arts places, you kind of either put in your time to get there or, a little bit of greasing the hands gets you there. But I don't know. Maybe he puts on his pajamas. He's a badass motherfucker. Who knows? But that's kind of Ed O'Neill's thing. He's going to jiu-jitsu your ass up. All right.
Right. I wouldn't fuck with Al Bundy.
Well, at this age, what are you going to do? You're going to throw a Werther's Originals down. He's going to dive for it, kick him in the head. Call it a day.
That is pretty true.
Pretty sharp-witted.
And with Gary Busey, you probably have to crush that Werther's Original up into a fine powder.
He'll snort it. You kick him in the face. Now, Gary Busey, obviously, you got to go before that motorcycle accident, right? Before he's turned into this blithering fucking idiot. Or he's the greatest actor of all time. We do not know. Right?
I won't go down the path of greatest actor of all time. I would say wacky.
He liked cocaine. He loved hallucinogenic mushrooms. He liked the Mary Jane. And the only thing that he's really done is domestic battery for spousal misdemeanors. That doesn't do a lot for me here. I don't know how Gary Busey moved on. He beat Alec Baldwin in the first round. You have to listen to the first podcast. I don't remember it.
If Alec Baldwin doesn't have a gun, then obviously he can't kill you.
I still don't know how that's happened, but this is pretty cut and dry. This is Ed O'Neill, right?
I think so.
All right, congrats, Ed. You move on.
Badass.
We move on to the number 4 seed, Christian Slater. He's taking on the number 12 seed, Steven Seagal. Christian Slater, he's had difficulties with substance abuse, all right?
Okay.
He said working is his hobby, staying sober is his job. Preach, brother. You know what I mean? But, he's into heroin and cocaine. He's a little step above us. He takes it a little bit further than us. You know what I mean?
Does he, though?
Yeah, he gropes women on the street. He's charged with 3rd-degree sexual abuse. He snorts that cocaine. He gets a little horn. He's getting a little crazy, all right? He also does fucking Kempo karate. And we all know karate is probably the best, most violent form of fighting there is.
They get so far in UFC.
Don't put your kids in wrestling, Muay Thai, or boxing.
Or kickboxing.
Or jiu-jitsu.
Or jiu-jitsu, yeah. Or Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yes. Or American jiu-jitsu or Armenian jiu-jitsu where you get to fuck Kim Kardashian. I don't fucking know. But put them in Kempo karate.
Right.
Because Chuck Liddell, he's still with us. He has discovered a knack of, quote, kicking bots. Christian Slater likes to kick bots.
Really?
Yeah. And his Kempo class doesn't cut him any slack. They were all kicking each other's bots.
That sounds like insanity.
That sounds like if he came to our fly-by-night class in 2005, he would have died.
It's a very good possibility.
He would have died.
Yeah.
So the dude, he likes to get coked up, a little heroin, a little speedball action, likes to do a little grab ass karate. He's taking on Steven Seagal, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of Steven Seagal, you look up some of his performances, and they are performances where guys charge at him and magically fall from some fucking kinetic energy. I don't fucking know.
It's Steven Seagal kinetic energy.
Yeah. So anything interesting on Putin's best friend, Steven Seagal?
He's of...
Because he goes to all the Russian middle schools to teach, his
right.
vast knowledge.
He's of American, Serbian, and Russian descent. I believe in 2016 or 2017? He migrated over to Russia. They give him full citizenship.
And he's eating well.
Obviously eating well. In 2018, he was made a special envoy to the U.S. from Russia.
And he's eating well.
And still eating well.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot better than some of those Russian generals.
Oh, well, we'll give you 10 days to get this war over with. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, send Seagal in.
Send him in.
When's that going to be the battle cry?
Send him in.
Send Seagal in.
You'll see the Klitschko's running at him and they're just falling down. That's pretty doubtful, though.
Right. Yeah, they just go flying 10 feet the other way.
Yeah, when they come running at you and then hit you, and I don't know what Seagal's going to do. Except for shit his pants. Shit his kimono.
Yeah.
So he's a 7th degree in what? Aikido?
7th degree Dan in Aikido.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not far from Kempo karate, to be honest with you.
Right. I mean, arguably, who knows? Kempo karate and Aikido, two most deadly martial arts.
Oh, absolutely. Don't put your kids in wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu.
They will learn nothing from those.
No, they will not.
From those playtimes.
Go to your local shopping center right by the Thai food place.
Yeah, Chuck Wolf.
Oh, he's great. Brazzers. After he gets done dicking down your mom, he'll teach you some karate.
Yeah, greasing down his mullet.
Fuck. How does this go? How big is Steven Seagal, height-wise? Now, we know he's eating well.
Definitely eating well.
Slater's 5'9". Because to be honest, Seagal seems like a big boy. I would see him north of 6 foot at least, and north of 400 pounds at this point. He's just eating all the Russian delicacies.
Right. Steven Seagal is actually 6'4".
6'4". So that's 7 inches taller than Slater. And, he might know how to use his reach, grab the pajamas, sweep the fucking leg. You know what I mean? I have Seagal moving on in a very lackluster fight.
I think Slater falls down from that weird kinetic energy and doesn't get back up.
Listen, Slater could snort some coke, get some energy to really give him a go. But we're talking, for this podcast, condemn movie, put them on an island, but put them both in their primes. You know what I mean? This isn't 400-pound Steven Seagal. This is 200-pound Steven Seagal. We're moving on. Next up, the 3 seed, Mickey Rourke taking on the 11 seed, Edward Furlong. So Mickey Rourke, a lot of contradictory things about his boxing career.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, some of the stuff we were seeing.
They said he had this not extensive amateur record, but 27-3. I mean, that's quite a few fights. And then some people were like, "But he never boxed amateur." Well, what do you mean? Where did these 30 fights come from?
Did he start boxing at 12, or
it's bizarre?
Not.
And then the pro career, which was 6-0-2, that came into question when people said all of his fights were fixed. They said millions of dollars were paid. They said he would miss people and they would take the biggest dives ever. So it's very bizarre, but all we know is he did train in it. I mean, got that going for him.
Right.
So, I mean, what do you think?
Listen, I got to come clean. Mickey Rourke is paying me millions of dollars to advance him to the next round.
Oh, so we shouldn't even talk? about how Furlong has battled alcoholism and drug addiction? And how the hell did he win a match on this fucking show? Who did he beat? He beat who?
Nicolas Cage.
Well, Furlong's just a drug-fueled motherfucker. He was arrested and charged with felony domestic abuse against his girlfriend. And then he used force against his ex-girlfriend, which is a violation of protective order.
Used force against her?
Yeah, he used force.
To do what?
Brazzers.
Forced her to watch Brazzers?
So, I mean, so Furlong is a junkie that doesn't mind to punch women who are closest to him. And then we got Mickey Rourke, who may be a phony, but at least he's a ripped phony that probably has thrown some punches at men. So, who the fuck do you have in this? Do you have a drug-addicted woman beater or a fake boxing?
It's easily the professional boxer that never actually fought a match in his entire career. Don't even know if he could actually throw a punch.
Right, because they're not hitting anybody.
Right, they're 6 inches off the mark.
And destroying people.
But I think just the wind off the punch would probably knock Furlong out. He's going to be so fucked up.
Yeah. Furlong's gone. Moving on. Mickey Rourke. All right, moving on. We have the 10 seed, Sean Penn, taking on the 15 seed, Todd Bridges. What have you noticed about Sean Penn here?
I mean, Sean Penn, actor, played in a lot of movies. You go back and review his personal life. he grew up in Malibu. Malibu.
The mean streets.
The mean fucking streets of Malibu.
Yeah. Not many get out of there.
No, not alive.
You sure?
Okay, I could be exaggerating.
Yeah, I think you took it too far.
But yeah, I mean, Sean Penn, you look at some of his checkered past, he's friends with who was it?
Todd Bridges grew up getting sexually abused at 11.
Oh, well.
A little different than Malibu.
Yeah, that's different in Malibu. Well, I don't know.
Todd Bridges started smoking Mary Jane at 15 years old. He bought and sold drugs to support his addiction, and he also liked cocaine.
Okay.
So Penn's in Malibu. This guy getting raped and snorting coke, and so it's a little different. We're just trying to set up the parallel matchup.
Some different kind of lifestyles. Sean Penn started acting in movies in the early and mid 1980s. I think his first debut was like Little House on the Prairie in 1974 or some shit.
87, Bridges pled no contest when he was charged with making a bomb threat.
Oh, wow. 1985, Sean Penn assaulted 2 journalists that felt like, I guess they got a little too close to Madonna, or they were following him and Madonna.
Yeah, so he decided to show him
a
little lesson.
Yeah, can't follow people.
Well, in 89, Bridges was arrested and tried for the attempted murder of Kenneth Clay, a drug dealer who prosecutors argue had been shot by Bridges. But Bridges pleaded not guilty. And guess who his lawyer was? Johnny Cochran, baby. So guess what?
Love Johnny Cochran.
He didn't do it.
Exactly. The glove didn't fit. January 86, Penn was charged for allegedly assaulting Lionel Boralho, which is a Macau correspondent for the Hong Kong Standard. How about them apples?
Okay, well, 92, suspicion of transporting narcotics for sale and possession and a loaded firearm in Burbank, California. And he had methamphetamines on him. Shit. But listen. Bridges also saved a paraplegic woman who nearly drowned when her wheelchair rolled into a lake. So, I mean, he's a good guy.
I mean, all between this doing drugs
too,
and attempted murder, I'm going to go save little old ladies. Well, here's Sean Penn. He's just trying to get along with his lady friend Madonna, whom he loves dearly. And, June 86, He's charged with misdemeanor battery for assaulting songwriter David Walensky at Helena's nightclub in L.A. Walensky said Penn accused him of trying to kiss Madonna. Like, don't get so close to his lady friend, fucker.
Yeah, well, Todd Bridges was in celebrity boxing. Guess who he fought? Vanilla fucking Ice. Ice, baby. And he beat his fucking ass.
So he
floored him twice. And Vanilla Ice had Tank Abbott in his corner, and Todd Bridges still beat that ass.
I mean, who'd Todd Bridges have? Steven Seagal?
In his corner? Jesus?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean,
what's your final verdict on this?
Hard to beat Jesus. I think man, this is tough.
This is sad. It's not tough. It's fucking depressing.
Sadly, depressingly tough. That Sean Penn...
He beats Evel Knievel's ass, and then he's going to come and he's going to whoop Sean Penn's ass.
Sean Penn is such a fucking cuck.
Yeah.
I can't stand this entitled little brat of a dictating, loving piece of shit that assaults journalists, that lives out of Malibu. Yeah. Fuck you, pussy. I hope Todd Bridges fucking attempted murders you.
And he will. And he'll shove your perfectly healthy ass into the lake. He won't save you either. Todd Bridges is moving the fuck on. On to the semifinals. We have the number 1 seed, Ed O'Neill, taking on the number 12 seed, Steven Seagal. Now, Ed O'Neill on this condemned island has beaten the ass of Gary Busey and Danny Trejo, whereas Seagal has gotten past Christian Slater and Mark Wahlberg. You know what's funny? If I could go back and do this again, I don't know that he gets past Wahlberg. I mean, a young, stout Wahlberg that I think did some boxing. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. But, I mean, maybe. But it is what it is. The 1 seed, Ed O'Neill. The 12 seed, Steven Seagal. Ed O'Neill, obviously, Orion Gracie, black belt. But that's about it. I mean, he's got no real dark side to him, you know. Steven Seagal, some Aikido.
Very accomplished.
Does he have a ground game?
Aikido.
You know? Because you've seen Seagal do some judo stuff, you know. He's going to toss you around. So these two guys, they don't mind getting in their pajamas and mixing it up. All right?
Right.
Ed O'Neill, just real quick. I mean, Steven Seagal, he's 6'4". And he's eating pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think he's missed a meal for quite a few years.
Especially since he got into Russia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, him being a special U.S. envoy, that must give him like an increased access to the food supply.
Ed O'Neill's 6'1". So, I mean, not a whole lot of difference there. A little bit.
Yeah, 3 inches.
Man, who do you have here? Because, honestly, I would think Seagal's been around the block a lot longer. I don't think Ed O'Neill started doing jiu-jitsu until it got cool to do it and celebrities to do it and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, he's paying a Gracie to do it. But Seagal probably has more years in the game, you know what I mean? But another thing is, how phony is Seagal's shit?
Well, Seagal got into movies because he was martial arts trained, right?
Yeah, but that years, I would think years. And I don't know when Ed O'Neill started, but I mean, it wasn't, I don't think he was fucking Al Bundy when he was doing it.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it was after that.
Probably the last 10, 15 years he's probably been doing it.
Yeah, don't quote us. I'm not going to look it up. Please don't fucking email me at mycesspoolpodcast.com.
Email him.
At Gmail.
And I promise you he's not drinking.
What do you got? I just think on years alone, you can think Seagal's phony or not. I mean, there are some legitimate people that, you know, like, I mean, he went to the cage with Anderson Silva and stuff like that. Anderson Silva's not going to completely put his reputation on the line unless that guy did something, right? I mean, maybe he got paid to let him. I don't fucking know. But, I mean, I just think Steven Seagal probably beat him, especially in the prime. Seagal was not that lumbering, you know.
No, I mean, he actually used to be less than $5 bills.
Yeah, and Ed O'Neill, if you put his prime in his jiu-jitsu years, because his prime, I don't think he was doing it. So I mean,
What? Yeah, what's his prime? 45?
maybe,
50?
yeah, I don't know. So to be honest, I had the 12 seed Seagal beating that ass, Al Bundy, and he ain't putting a shoe on this guy. You know what I mean?
I'm taking Seagal too.
Seagal moves on to the finals. Number 3, Mickey Rourke. And Rourke has beaten the ass of Furlong and Mel Gibson. He's taking on the 15th seed, Todd Bridges, who's had an interesting road, but Evel Knievel and Sean Penn. So is it 3 seed Rourke, 15th seed Bridges? Now, Todd Bridges, he did celebrity boxing. Rourke, I assume, did real boxing. I mean, there's an asterisk there on if some of the fights were fixed, but I mean, you still got to get in shape and box. I mean, and there was some big name, Angelo Dundee, Freddie Roach. You know what I mean? Like, these are guys that are renowned guys. He couldn't be that fake.
I agree with that. I think he's done some boxing training.
He always stayed in pretty good shape.
Stayed in pretty good shape. I mean, there was some movies where he looked like he was pretty cut up, you know, looking decent. I don't know if I can gauge based off of what we're seeing what his success rate was. I mean, it's obvious he boxed.
Yeah.
He's had some training. He knows how to throw some hands. Throw him out on the street, probably hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Right? Todd Bridges, on the other hand,
Likes drugs. Get his nose a little dirty on some.
Yeah, he seems like he's just a little more unhinged rather than,
especially in his
ready to
early
fight.
days, he didn't give a F.
Right. It's kind of what it seems like. I don't know. I mean, obviously he went before some cucks earlier. But I think with Mickey Rourke, that's a kind of different animal there. I think he's got a fight on his hands now.
I do. I have Rourke probably. I don't know if it's eking it out. I think I have Rourke, who was, had a professional boxing career, asterisk, against a guy that had a celebrity boxing career.
Right. I think he gives Bridges, $250K and a pound of cocaine and
punches his stomach gently and watches him fall.
Tells him take a fall.
Number 3, Mickey Rourke moves on. So we have our finals of our very first ever Celebrity Combat. And it's the 12 seed, Steven Seagal, fresh off a battering of Al Bundy, a.k.a. Ed O'Neill. And he's taking on the 3 seed Rourke, who just got done paying off Todd Bridges to take a fall here. So we have karate versus boxing. Both guys, come on, they both have asterisks. One guy that might have a sketchy boxing career, and another guy that has a sketchy fucking martial arts career. You know what I mean? These are 2 of the phoniest of phonies, maybe. Or are they the realest of the real? That's why we do these sweet fucking podcasts. Who's the toughest? You put these guys on an island, who's getting out? Who's beating whose ass here? Is it Steven Seagal? These are both similar age guys. One stayed in shape a little bit longer than the other, Seagal's, he's doing fine.
Oh, very fine. He hasn't missed a buffet in years.
And then Rourke. So, I mean, what do you value more? A little bit longer term martial arts or boxing? Now, granted, me and you have done combat sports. We would know the obvious answer would be more of the mixed. Just a boxer isn't. I mean, yes, if he's a very good boxer, he could just clean the clock of Seagal. But let's face it, if Seagal gets a hold of him, probably going to trip him.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at like Seagal versus Tyson. I don't think Seagal comes out of the ring alive.
Right.
Mickey Rourke versus Seagal. There's going to be a lot of slap fighting. Honestly, you know what I think this comes down to? We've seen the videos of Seagal in Russia and his exhibition that he does. We've read what we've read about Rourke. You know what I think it comes down to at this point? What is the net worth of each individual?
You think that's what it comes down to?
I think that's what it comes down to.
Do you know the answer?
I think that they're going to try to pay each other off.
Okay, so we got to look up net worth here.
And whoever has the most money is going to win.
Okay, look up Seagal's first. Steven Seagal net worth. I hope a credible source on here, because how many rubles is this motherfucker worth? Because the ruble is fucking dropping.
I'm asking Putin what the net worth of Steven Seagal is,
Yep.
and he says it's 16 million.
16 million.
16 million.
Rourke is 10 million.
Oh man.
So here's the deal, guys. Rourke, you're gonna be getting thrown around by that kinetic energy.
Yes, you are. But it's going to be very, very green kinetic energy.
It'll be gentle. Steven Seagal wins as the 12 seed, our first ever Celebrity Combat. Congrats, Steve and Vladimir.